Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT network, as well as my channel, Broncos Breakdown on YouTube. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, honesty, and of course, my comments along with yours in the chat. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys, before I get into the topics, we got many different directions to go. I just want to wish everybody a very, very happy 4th of July, which is next Thursday, obviously the day before the show. So I want to wish each and every one of you a very, very happy 4th of July, wherever you may be, whatever you may be doing. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the fact that you live in this great country. I know we have problems and whatnot. I'm not getting into that, but I just want to say everybody have a wonderful 4th of July. Stay safe, because I want to see each and every one of you, in the chat or, registered as far as being able, watching the show live. So really do appreciate it. I know it's going to be a busy weekend for you guys. I don't expect you guys to be here, but it's okay because it's recorded and you can always check it out at your easiest convenience. All right. Going to the chat real quick. G Money 88 is batting leadoff in the chat. Says, "What's up, Bronco Bill? Hope all is well with you and your family. Also, Cubs stink and go Padres." Well, you're right. The Cubs do stink, and I don't know what's up with them guys. I know I got that championship banner back here, but that seems like yesteryear. Although it's not 108 years old, it's only 8 years old. Yeah, 8 years old. So hey. There's an 8 in there somewhere, right? 8 in somewhere. But hey, Padres are doing great. I like the Padres. I do. They're not my favorite team. They're my grandson's favorite team. So whenever they play, I want them to win unless they play the Cubs. And my grandson knows that. My nephew, Bobby, he's a big, huge Padres fan. They both understand. My son does as well. They all understand that I'll cheer for the Padres and want them to win, just not against the Cubs. And then G Money also follows up by saying, "Have a great rest of your night." Thanks so much, G Money. Thank you so much for chiming in, for jumping in. Whether you stay or able to stay, that's fine. If you can't, I totally understand. Thanks for jumping in. After all, it is a Friday. It is summertime. People are doing things, whatever they may be doing with family, friends. Sun stays up till like 9 o'clock, at least here in Southern California. So a lot of people are doing things. They're away from being able to watch this live. And I totally get it. I'm totally fine with that. I just really do appreciate each and every one of you, and your support means the world. Really do. All right. Let's jump into the first topic, which is J.J. McCarthy. Why am I talking about J.J. McCarthy? I'll tell you why. Per ESPN's Kevin Seifert's opinion on J.J. McCarthy, there are more question marks hanging over McCarthy than Bo Nix. Okay. He says, and I quote, "At times, McCarthy fits darts into small windows against aggressive coverage. Other times, he bounces passes to receivers with no defenders." End quote. Well, we've seen that before too. Okay. Let me continue. So far, Nix has edged his way ahead of McCarthy, and Payton's stock in Bo Nix may have been the better draft pick than the Vikings taking McCarthy. End quote. Well, not end quote, but end of the topic. Okay, my point is this. Of course, Bo Nix should be ahead of him. Bo Nix played 61 college games, more than any other quarterback that was in the draft. Okay, so he should have more experience, more opportunities to get it right. Okay, am I saying J.J. McCarthy is a bad quarterback? Absolutely not. I mean, he won a national championship with Michigan. Now, it's not all him, but he had to be the quarterback, or was a quarterback, that had to get the job done. Is he NFL qualified? Okay, none of us will know until we actually see him on the field. Is Bo Nix NFL qualified? What I mean by qualified is, are they going to be able to be in the NFL and be a franchise quarterback for 10 plus years? That's what I'm talking about. So is that what we're going to see from Bo Nix? I don't know. I hope so. I don't know. Nobody knows until you see the product on the field. But I found it interesting that they were saying that, Bo Nix is ahead of McCarthy. Okay, he should be. Like I mentioned, he should be because of the fact that he played more college games, more experience. All right. Well, that leads me into somewhat of a follow-up topic and segment, and that's also the title or the main theme of this show for tonight. Now, I don't really like to do the main topic this early in the show because I don't want people to tune out, but I got plenty of stuff for you guys, plenty of topics. So yes, this is the main topic, but it coincides with the JJ McCarthy one I just read to you. All right, here we go. According to several pro personnel executives that have evaluated the Broncos quarterbacks, Zach Wilson has the liveliest arm and potentially the biggest portfolio of throws he can make per ESPN's Jeff Legwold. Well, the main topic of the show is Zach Wilson outshining Bo Nix? Well, I just read what Jeff Legwold said about Zach Wilson. He feels that he's got the biggest portfolio of throws, and he can make them accurately. Okay, fine. Zach Wilson's been in the NFL. He has games under his belt in the NFL. Bo Nix doesn't. So it's like comparing apples and oranges. You can't do that. They're both healthy for you. They're both nutritious for you. They both come on trees, but they're different. Just like Bo Nix and Zach Wilson. They're different. Zach Wilson's been in the NFL and played games. Bo Nix hasn't. Zach Wilson is younger, I believe, or maybe the same age. But anyways, they're different. NFL is totally different than college. Let me continue. However, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler says, and I quote, "I'm told that Bo Nix around traffic in the pocket with defensive linemen flying all around him, he's delivered the ball calmly and accurately. I'm told that he has stood out to the Broncos. This is a long quarterback battle, but Nix has made an early compelling case." End quote. There you go. Which one are you going to believe? You're going to believe Jeff Legwold, or are you going to believe Jeremy Fowler? I think both are correct. Zach Wilson does have a lively arm. He does make accurate throws when afforded, I guess, not scrambling, running out of pocket, whatever. So yes, they both are good, in their perfected level, I should say. Okay. Zach Wilson isn't going to light it up anytime soon. I mean, he's going to be a good backup per se, but so is Jared Stidham. I mean, Stidham went 1-1 last year. I mean, it's 500. It's not spectacular, but he didn't lose both games. So it's hard to tell right now who has the upper hand in the Broncos quarterback room. Everybody wants to say Bo Nix because we drafted him number 12. Okay, fine. Is he ready? Because if he's not, it would be foolish to put him in there, embarrass him, just cause his confidence to just plummet downhill. No, you don't do that to a young guy. You can't do that. But if he's ready and you put him in there and he fails because the NFL is totally different than college, I don't know. I don't know the answer. We will find out the answer come very soon because practice is around the corner, getting ready for preseason's around the corner, and the NFL kicks off, I believe, at the last week in August, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's the last week in August. So I'm just saying, we don't know, guys. We don't know. I know all of us want to, have Bo Nix come out, light it up like Patrick Mahomes and just run the table in the first 4 or 5 games and go 5-0. No, I don't see it. absolutely do not see it. I don't care what quarterback we have. I don't see that. Not with this schedule. Not with a rookie quarterback. Not with a Zach Wilson who hasn't really lit it up in New York. And not with a Jared Stidham who's only a 500. If you're a 500 quarterback on the Broncos, which Stidham was last year, one win, one loss, that's only 500. Out of 5 games, that means you either win 3 and lose 2, or you lose 2 and win 3. Or excuse me, lose 3 or win 2 and lose 3. So I don't know. I don't know which one we're going to see. All right. Back to the chat. Graham is batting second. He said, "What's up? Extending an offer to appear on the podcast. I'm a producer for Reach Out on Twitter, Facebook. Interested? If interested, absolutely. Nice. Do me a favor, Graham. Hit me up on DM in my Twitter. Hit me up on DM, and I'll totally discuss it with Madungus Creevy. I don't think there'll be a problem. But yeah, hit me up on a DM in Twitter. I'll give you the information. And well, I know they don't call it Twitter, but I don't care. It's still Twitter. So, anyways, yeah, do me that favor and hit me up, and go from there. It's what is my Twitter one? Oh, it's up there on the top, I believe. Yeah, it's up on the top under Broncos Breakdown, I believe. All right. Yeah, thanks a lot, Graham. I really do appreciate it. I know he goes, "What's your Twitter?" God, what is it? Hang on. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I know this is going off topic, but let me see. Let me see what it is. It is okay. I'll type it in. Hit me up right here. It's okay. Hang on. Here we go. What is all my numbers? Backspace 26732 26732. All right, there you go. All right, Graham, you got that now. Check. I know now everybody has it, which is fine. It's all good. All right. Okay, so let's shift over to Sean Payton. All right. We all know Russell Wilson didn't work out in Denver with Nathaniel Hackett and Sean Payton. However, was it all Wilson's fault? Okay. Not according to ESPN's Jerry Fowler. Perhaps, he says, perhaps not. He said, and I quote, "Sean never liked him as the guy from day one." Ooh, well, we all know that, but that's still eye-opening, right? And went out of his way to make it known that he didn't want him. Sean Payton has a reputation of being difficult to deal with. Sometimes just getting away from a toxic coach is a good thing. Wow. So Jeremy Fowler's calling Sean Payton a toxic coach. Does that mean that that was a bad head coach hire? I don't think so. I mean, a lot of coaches, have a lot of, spit and vinegar or whatever the saying is. A lot of them do. I don't think Bill Belichick is real easygoing in the locker room. I don't think that for one moment. Mike Shanahan at times in the past, I mean, he could get feisty. There's a lot of head coaches out there that just, get really angry. I just don't like the fact that Sean Payton did it to Russell Wilson on the sidelines. I just think that that's absolutely just totally wrong. Just totally wrong when it comes to that. All that stuff needs to be behind closed doors. If he's not happy with Russell Wilson on the sideline, okay, go up to him and tell him you're not happy. But don't yell at him, scream at him, and point your fist and go like this. No, that's childish. You don't do that. That's just wrong. That's embarrassing to you as a head coach, and it's absolutely what's the word I'm looking for? It's I was going to say ridiculing, but there's a different word. It's it's also embarrassing to Russell Wilson and his family and his kids to see that. I mentioned that when it happened. It's just wrong. You just don't do that. Graham brings up the haha comment. I'm assuming it's because of my nickname or handle at Twitter, which is it's supposed to be Stickman, not Stickma. So yeah, Stickman. It's a story. I got a nickname when I worked in the school district as Sticks. So that's basically what I use in a lot of different things. So anyways, there you go, Graham. You got it. All right, good. Send me a direct message or DM and I'll respond back to you. I'll get you in touch too with Madungus Creevy at MHRT. And we'll go from there, okay, buddy? All right. Okay. Giannis Griffith. Giannis Griffith was on 104.3 The Fan in Denver and addressed the locker room frame of mind heading into the 2024 season. Well, we just talked about Sean Payton being explosive, didn't want Russell Wilson around, made it known, just very angry with the media and just, losing his cool on the sidelines and the whole bit, okay? Here's what Giannis Griffith is saying about the locker room now as the Broncos head into the 2024 NFL season. Here it is. I think that there's a difference in Sean Payton that the media gets versus what the players get, talking about speeches or conversations or whatever. Honestly, last year he was not grumpy towards the players. It was towards the media. This year he seems to be more confident. He says he's ready to go. Got a lot of work to do, but we're ready to go. End quote. Okay. Another thing that was pointed out was that he gets angry with the media because the media would always bring up comments about himself and Russell Wilson, or why isn't Russell Wilson doing this, or why is that playing, or blah, 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 whatever. And he gets frustrated because he doesn't want Russell Wilson on the team. He wanted a different quarterback. He wanted his own quarterback. But he agreed with George Payton to make it work, or at least try to make it work. And it didn't work. So they got rid of Russell Wilson. He goes to Pittsburgh, and Bo Nix is drafted number 12. And now Sean Payton feels more confident, around the players and going into this upcoming season than he did last year. Okay, I can understand that because he did not want Russell Wilson. But, at some point in time, you've got to check your emotions, although it's very difficult. I have difficult times checking my emotions and my feelings and my frustrations around certain people, certain times. I really do. And I think everybody does. But when you're in the media spotlight, I'm not in the media spotlight. Sean Payton and the Broncos are in the media spotlight, just like any other team. They're gonna be pointed out. Things are going to get pointed out, and coaches aren't going to like it. Players aren't going to like it, but that's just the nature of the game. I mean, if you're gonna play the game, you got to pay the game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to, whatever that saying is, you got to, you've got to answer the tough questions, and whether or not you want to doesn't matter. You're going to have to answer the tough questions, or it's going to be even tougher the next time go around when they want you to say something, because now you're going to be even more frustrated. So let's hope that Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos and the locker room is a little bit more harmonious, a little bit easier to breathe, that the media, Sean Payton's not going to go crazy against the media and just, like he did last year. Let's make this a positive year. Can we? Can we make this a positive year and move forward? Get past all of this. How many times am I going to have to keep talking about Russell Wilson? Something comes up, and there it is in my face. I want to move on. I want to move on to where the Broncos are, let's say at the end of 5 games, they're 4-1, or they're 3-2, or better yet, 5-0. That's what I want. That's what I want. I don't want 1-5 like last year. I don't. I really don't. But let's just move on. Let's get this behind us, please. Behind us. All right, here we go. Greg Dulcich has had tough times staying on the field with multiple injuries. Last season, he went down in the Broncos season opener with a hamstring injury. This is an issue that has lingered since he was drafted in 2022. It's only 2 years removed. Well, I mean, 2 seasons removed, going into third season 2024. Lucas Kroll is waiting in the tight end wings to take over if Dulcich can't stay healthy or fails to make the roster. Denver will need a lot of growth from Kroll should that happen. Wow. Another possible setback as the Broncos get ready to enter another NFL season. Last year, Dulcich went down in the first game of the season. Before that, it was Tim Patrick with his ACL. I mean, it's been injury after injury. Is Dulcich going to be able to perform at the level that the Broncos thought he would when they drafted him? I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, his hamstring issue has lingered with him for 3 years, since 2022. Well, 22, 23, and now we're in 2024. That's 3 years, guys. Yes, you got to count the year that he was drafted because that was the first season. So, in my opinion, I don't think Dulcich is ever going to be that guy. Sadly, because he was fantastic at UCLA. Really liked the kid. Really liked the kid. And I liked him when he first came out, Denver and was playing. I just don't think he's ever going to be that person. Now, can Kroll be that person? Sure hope so. But like it said, there's going to be a tremendous amount of growth that the Broncos are going to have to hope that they can fast forward with him in order to be that guy at tight end. And tight end is a very, very important position, extremely important position for blocking on the running game, for maybe blocking for a short bit on a fake run, and then check out and go down across the middle. Shannon Sharpe was one of the best of the Broncos, absolutely one of the best, if not the best tight end the Broncos have had. Absolutely, we've had other ones, Clarence Kay and others, but Riley Odoms. But I just Shannon Sharpe was the guy in Denver as tight end. And since he retired, we haven't really had a solid tight end that the Broncos can rely on, game in, game out. Really haven't. And, we thought we had that when we drafted Dulcich. That didn't turn out to be the case. Did not and has not turned out to be the case. And that's the sad part because of all the high hopes, because of all the production that he did in college. And like I mentioned before, guys, whatever you do in college is all well and good. That's fantastic. It does not always translate to the NFL level. It just doesn't. Different game, different systems, different speed, different rules, 2 feet in bounds instead of 1, that kind of thing. It's just different rules, and it's just very, very tough to transition from college to the NFL. And in Dulcich's case, it's not because of lack of inability. It's just lack of staying on the field because of all these injuries and a nagging hamstring injury. Once you get a hamstring injury, from what I've heard, is that it's very easy to get another one because now your hamstring has been stretched, and it's not likely to ever go back to the position that it was. And so then it's easy to strain again, easy to pull. So I wish Dulcich all the best. I hope he comes back. I hope he comes back strong. I hope there's some kind of medicine or some kind of injection or something that's legal in the NFL, where he is able to come back and where he can come back and be at that elite level that the Broncos and everybody else hopes he can be. Hold on, guys. Someone's at the door. Okay, I don't know who that is. My wife will get that. Okay, Cortland Sutton. Now, Cortland Sutton was asked when he was at minicamp about the players no longer on the team. And he said, and I quote, "That's above my pay grade. I know the guys upstairs don't make those decisions." I know the guys upstairs that make the decisions. They have a rhyme and a reason for why they do the things they do. It's not for us to understand. This is a business, and that's just what they will say. It's not personal, so we've got to move accordingly. End quote. Wow. Cortland Sutton is obviously not happy that the players left, and I don't blame him. You form a bond, you're a team, all of that. But for him to say it's above my pay grade, okay, you're right. In a way, you're right. You're a player, you're an employee, and the management team above you / ownership and all that, GM and a whole bit, they are the ones that make the decisions. Yes, it is a business deal. But not all business deals are welcomed by players and or fans. Again, I'll bring it up, and that is Justin Simmons. That could have been totally handled differently. Totally handled differently. They could have restructured contracts. They could have cut somebody else and kept Justin Simmons. I don't understand that one at all, and I've said that to him. Bronco blue in the face. I don't understand it, period. And I'll move on from that. But yes, there are players that realize it's a business. They say, yeah, I know it's a business, but it's feelings, man. It's feelings here. You have family, and you buy a house in Colorado. You love the state. You love the community. You love the people. You love the organization. You love the coaching staff. You want to stay on this team. You love your players. And then all of a sudden you find out you're cut, or you're traded, or you're released. And it's got to hurt right here. It has to hurt. It would hurt if that happened to me where I worked in the school district and now at the golf course, if they walked up to me and said, hey, all right, this is your last day. We're cutting you. I mean, I'd be like, what happened? What'd I do? What? I mean, anybody would be hurt. And yes, it may be a business decision in any business. But in football, and again, because they're on television, it's magnified. It's intensified. It's out there all across the internet. It hurts. It does hurt. And these guys are human, and they don't like it. But Cortland Sutton took the high road and said, hey, that's not on me to decide. That's for the people, higher up. I know these guys, and, that's what they get paid to do, basically. He says, they have a rhyme or reason for what they do. Yeah, everybody does. Doesn't necessarily mean you like it. Doesn't necessarily mean you want it to be that way. But if it's that way, and there's nothing you can do to change it, like you said. So we've just got to go. He goes out. So we've got to move accordingly. Okay, move on. Not move on from one team to another. Move on from the standpoint of let's just go. Let's just move ahead. Let's get past this. Okay. Let's get past this. Again, it's been another off season where there's been turmoil. There was turmoil last year in off season with the hiring of Sean Payton and that headbutt with Russell Wilson. So it's just been back-to-back seasons of just turmoil and whatnot. And just get past this, please. Can we get past this? Move on, right? Let's move on. Speaking of moving on, one person has come back to Denver. No, not as a head coach in which he wanted to be, but he's back in Denver. After David Shaw was hired by the Broncos as their senior personnel executive, he spoke with Chris Thomason from the Denver Gazette regarding his excitement to be a Denver Bronco. I quote David Shaw, "I'm really excited to be back in the NFL and to be working with some great people. I was looking for a franchise with people I knew, people I trusted, and this seemed like the perfect situation. I'm really looking forward to this young team and watching it firsthand," end quote. He went on to say about not being the team's head coach. He said, and I quote, "You want to hire the right person at the right time. And I knew that right person was Sean Payton," end quote. There you go. You talk about a humble guy. That is a humble guy. He wanted to be the Broncos head coach. He was interviewed to be the Broncos head coach, but he wasn't hired. Sean Payton was. And like he said, you want to hire the right person. And he knew that the right person was Sean Payton. And that's fantastic because he realizes that, hey, I got the best of both worlds. I can still be back. I can still be on the Broncos, but I'm now a senior. What is he now? A senior personnel executive. Okay. He's in charge now. He's higher than Sean Payton in essence. He's higher up than Sean Payton. So did it work out for David Shaw? I would say absolutely. He's on the Broncos where he wanted to be, not as a head coach, but higher up than a head coach. Doesn't have to sit there and grind and try and get these players to be where they need to be. He can be looking at scouting. He can be looking at player personnel on the team. He can be talking to people on the phone with George Payton, trying to get a deal done, maybe a trade, maybe a free agent, draft picks down, next year, starting next year. This is a fantastic hire. Fantastic hire. And I mentioned this last week when I did my show that the Broncos had hired David Shaw. But this is even better because David Shaw comes out and says why he wanted to be on the Broncos, why he wanted to be part of his organization and part of this young team and be in that executive position to be able to make choices, look at scouting, and be above, basically like hovering above the team and looking down, so to speak, and making those critical decisions. So I think it's fantastic. Absolutely think it's fantastic that David Shaw is excited to be in Denver, excited to be on this Broncos organization, and in that position that he probably didn't even think he'd be in either. Because like I said, he wanted to be the Broncos head coach. Just seems like he got a little bit better than what he was looking at. Congratulations, David. I think that's awesome. All right. I know that a lot of people watch my show. I do know that. I get the tallies from MHRT as well as my own channel. I really don't know who those people are. I don't know if they're individuals or whatnot. But some part of me would love to think that there are some teams out there that have people monitoring different podcasts, different shows, different whatever. And I would like to take a little bit of credit for this next topic. Not that I firmly believe that any part of this organization watches or listens to the show, but for sake of argument and for not really knowing, I'm gonna go ahead and take a smidgen of credit. All right, here it is. Last Monday, the Kansas City Chiefs released Isaiah Buggs, who has been arrested multiple times. Now, last week, I said on my show, this guy should absolutely be canned, cut on the spot after his second arrest. His first arrest, which I'll get into in a minute, he had a first arrest and he had a second arrest within 1 month's time. Okay? 1 month's time. One was for animal cruelty. The other one was for domestic violence. Okay? Okay, both of those are extremely horrific. Absolutely horrific. In the incident of the animal cruelty, I said it last week, and I'm just going to say it again. I'm not going to really get into a lot of anger, frustration, and emotion because I did that last week. But basically what he did was he had two dogs, and he would, in order to punish them for being dogs or doing what dogs do, he chained them up in his backyard on a pole or a fence or whatever, but he chained them up. No water, no food, and outside with no shade. The domestic violence was an incident. I believe it was his girlfriend or something actually threatened her or something. Okay, so let me continue with what is written here. Buggs was booked for domestic violence as well as an earlier arrest for animal cruelty. One of his dogs Remember I said they were chained? One of his dogs, a pit bull, had to be put down due to Bug's abuse. That right there, my friend, is grounds for jail. Absolutely grounds for jail. That was absolutely done on purpose. Okay, maybe he didn't mean for his pit bull to have to be put down. Doesn't matter. It wouldn't happen if you weren't such a freaking idiot. And last week he was my jackass of the week, and it could be again this week, but I didn't do the jackass of the week with him again. However, he should be put in jail. Oh, maybe that's just what happened. He is currently in Tuscaloosa County Jail after being booked last Monday. Thank goodness. Good. Put him there. Probably for domestic violence, probably not really for animal cruelty, but they both are grounds, in my opinion, to be in jail. You don't do either one. You don't. Animals, especially dogs, are man's best friend. They love you. They just want you to come home and love them and pet them and take them for walks and love them, not chain them up and it ultimately cause their freaking death. You don't do that. That's not how you need to be responsible. And Bugs, you're not responsible. And thank goodness the Chiefs cut him like I suggested last Friday. Not that they listened to me. Maybe someone did. Maybe they just felt the energy from me or whatever. I don't know. Maybe none of the above. But they did the right thing and they cut him. I hope his career is over. I said that last week. I hope his career is over. And I stand by that right now, even to this day. I hope nobody picks him up. I hope his career is done. And I hope we are through hearing about this idiot. Total idiot. 100% jackass of the month. There, I said it. I didn't play the little intro and whatever, but it's okay. All right. And we only have about 5 more topics. Show's going pretty quick. Really do appreciate you guys watching. It means the world to me. Do me a favor, though. Please hit the thumbs up, the like button. It costs you nothing. It lets everybody know that you like the show, you're watching it, you enjoy the content. Hit the subscribe button if you have not. Please do so. That helps out the channel as well as myself and my channel, Broncos Breakdown on YouTube. Really do appreciate it. Each and every week, guys, giving up your Friday evening to spend it with this crazy 65-year-old Bronco fan talking sports. Really do appreciate it. All right. Here is an update. I did an update last week of the NFL being sued for the Sunday tickets inflatable price of $349, right? Here's an update to that update. Here it is, guys. Fasten your seatbelts. You're going to love it. The NFL has lost. What? NFL doesn't lose. Oh, yes, they have. The NFL has lost its lawsuit against them have lost a lawsuit against them for the inflated Sunday ticket package. The jury awarded $4.7 billion in damages to residential class and $96 million in damages to the commercial class. Now, residential class is me and you and everybody else out there that ever purchased the Sunday ticket between the years 2012, I believe it's 2012 or 2011. I think it's 2012 through 2022. If anybody out there, including myself, which I did, anybody out there subscribed to the Sunday ticket during that time frame is awarded or should hopefully be awarded some monetary gain from this class action lawsuit settlement that went in favor of the residential people and the commercial people. Now, the reason why the number is higher for $4.7 billion for residential and $96 million for commercial. Well, think about it. Commercial, they get one, they get the Sunday ticket and a bunch of people watch it. Okay? But that's great for them. but there's more individual households than there are commercial sports bars and that kind of thing. So the residential people are having a higher amount that is awarded to the whole realm of residential people is much larger. So the payout is much larger. The commercial is much smaller. The payout's much smaller. Okay. Makes sense. All right, here we go. The NFL had released a statement, and I quote, "We are disappointed with the jury's verdict." Of course they are. Yeah, do you think they want to pay out that kind of money? No, they don't. Hang on. Let me go back. And I quote, "We are disappointed with the jury's verdict in the Sunday ticket class action lawsuit. We will certainly contest," there it is, "we will certainly contest this decision and believe this case is baseless and without merit," end quote. Should the NFL end up having to pay damages to both the residential class and the commercial class, each NFL team would have to pay approximately $449.6 million. Wow. $449.6 million from every team. Well, the Broncos ownership can afford that, but a lot of these other teams, it's going to hurt them. Cleveland Browns don't have that big of a cash flow. I'm not too sure about, other teams like maybe, I don't know, Detroit. I don't know. I mean, these other teams, may not have that kind of, quote, pocket change. I'm not saying that, that's not a lot of money, because it is. But when you're worth billions, I mean, 449.6 million is a lot, but it's not going to bankrupt you. Some of these other teams, that's going to be tough to swallow. But the key phrase in this entire article is this. The key phrase in the entire article is this. "We will," and I'm quoting NFL, "we will certainly contest this decision." Period. You can put a period on it. They're going to contest it. They are going to appeal that decision. It could take years, guys, before we see any money. Maybe we'll never see it. Maybe we'll get settled out of court where they say, okay, well, we just won't do it anymore. We'll make it more reasonable. We'll give the people who, like the residential people like myself, okay, we'll give you the Sunday ticket free for the first 5 years. Okay? Well, what's that? Let's say it's still at $349. Let's say they even drop it to $150. Well, I'm losing out because it was $349 when I bought it. And now if they say, well, you get it for 5 years free, and otherwise it will cost you $150 for the season, I'm losing out on money. We don't know which way this is going to go, guys. We don't know. It could go a whole gamut of ways. Use your imagination. It could go a whole lot of different ways. The NFL does not want to pay that money out. That's money that they used and have been using for the last umpteen years. They don't want it to be paid back to us. That's not what they want. That's not their mindset. So it could go, this thing could be wrapped up in the court system for years. I may be in my late 70s, 80s by the time someone knocks on my door, or I get an envelope in the mail. Well, if mail's still going, and who knows? It could be just direct deposit. I don't know. I'm just saying, before I ever, get an envelope that says you were awarded X amount of dollars from the NFL, to open up, wow, I don't remember that. Oh yeah, that was way back in 2024. Holy smokes, I remember now. Yeah. So I don't know. None of us know, but we'll find out. This is an ongoing story, guys. I'll keep bringing it as new information comes up. But in the meantime, with the NFL losing in that lawsuit, maybe this is the reason why Roger Goodell wants an 18-game season. Well, we're going to have to recoup more money, right? Well, if you have 17 games in a season, well, you had 14 to begin. When I first started watching football, it was 12 games. Then it was 14. Then it went to 16. Now it's 17, which is the first odd one. And now Roger Goodell wants it to go 18 seasons. Well, you're going to have to recoup some of that money if you're going to have to pay it out. Here's the article. 6 years before the new collective bargaining agreement, Roger Goodell is campaigning for an 18-game season. The players' union wants at least 55 players on active roster and 50 players in uniform on game days, according to Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk. Okay? The union also wants greater freedom to make practice squad elevations. In other words, taking somebody off the practice squad, putting them up on, right now it's limited. Okay. Most players don't want an 18-game season due to the wear and tear on their bodies. I don't blame them. I don't blame them a bit. And people say, well, we'll just eliminate a pregame and make that pregame the 18th game. It doesn't work that way, because in pregame, the starters are not playing the entire game. The backups are playing most of the entire game. If you take that and go to an 18-game season and eliminate a preseason game and make it a regular season game, well, then what you're doing is you're telling those regulars, you got to play 18 games. Well, they don't play 18 games in a 17-game season, obviously, and they don't play that, quote, 18th game in preseason because they don't play the entire game. And the intensity isn't as high. Sure, they're hitting and things like that, but it's not like the regular season where the games count. So I side with the players on this. Would I love an 18-game season? Sure. If it meant the Broncos have one more game to try and get to the playoffs, absolutely. But when it comes to the players, we're already having major injuries across the board in the NFL that are just season-ending injuries or possible career-ending injuries or lengthy injuries throughout the season. So you got to understand that 18-game season is all well and good for the coffers of the NFL and the fans to be able to see 9 home games instead of 8, maybe one year, and 7 another year. So it makes sense for the fans. It makes sense for the NFL coffers, the brass, Roger Goodell and them. It doesn't make sense to the players. It doesn't. It's going to shorten their career. It's going to shorten their availability to be productive on the field because injuries are going to mount up and they're going to be longer lasting. So I don't want to see an 18-game season because of the players' injuries, especially on the Broncos. I don't want to see it for that reason. I do want to see it being selfish because I want to be a fan. I want an extra week to see my favorite football team, the Denver Broncos, but not at the expense of having a major player, a catastrophic injury or something of that nature. We've already seen Tim Patrick hurt. We've seen injuries. We saw Javonte Williams injury. Going back years, Terrell Davis with his ACL. We've seen Aaron Rodgers with his Achilles. We've seen Kirk Cousins with his Achilles. These are injuries that, if in an 18-game season, are really going to rear their ugly head. They really are. You're stretching the body and the muscles and the energy of these guys to the extreme. And I don't like it. I don't want to see it because of the player standpoint. I would love it and relish it as a fan. But in reality, no, I have to say I don't want to see it. I'm not in favor of this. I'm not in favor. Let me continue. It looks as though it will happen. But will it happen before the collective bargaining agreement expires in 2030? That's the question. That's pretty scary, guys. It's pretty good. It looks like it's going to happen. It really does. I don't want to see it because of the reasons I stated above. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it because of the players. People say, yeah, but maybe it won't happen to the Broncos. Yeah, right. Sure. It happens to every team. Every team has major injuries. Every single team has major injuries. Not always to the quarterback, not always to a wide receiver or running back, but major key injuries to personnel. Safety, corner, linebacker, offensive line. you name it, punter, kicker, special teams guy. Yeah, there are injuries that are catastrophic. Dave Fonseca, my friend, what's happening? You're batting third in the chat. Glad to have you. Says, hello, my friend. I say, hello, Dave. I know you just tried calling me, and that's why I said I'll call you back, because I figured the best way you want to talk to me is to jump in on the chat. So glad to see you, my friend. Hope everything going well for you in Indiana. And go Broncos. Absolutely. Go Broncos, my friend. Say hi to Jody for me and your entire family. Beautiful family you got going out there, guy. Beautiful family. All right. This is putting sports and family in perspective. I know we all would do this. I know I've done it. When there was I was living in, south of where I am now, in a place called Escondido, and there was the catastrophic fires that were coming through. There was a Santa Ana, and they're blowing to the west, and I was west of where the fires were. And the Bronco game was on TV at the time. It was a Sunday, and I was out there on the balcony with my binoculars and looking at the fire. And I was telling my wife, I said, honey, if it crests over that mountain, I know that mountain's probably about 10 miles away, but if it crests over that mountain, we're out of here. And because you don't want to wait till they tell you have to leave, because then everybody and their mothers try to get out of the place, and it's a traffic jam. And I said, no, we're going to leave if it crests. But my point is that I put family and importance and necessity in front of sports, and that's what happened to Randall Cobb. Before I get into that, David Fonseca said, Jody says hi. I said, howdy. Well, I have to do that because, Jody's got that Southern accent. So cute. So amazing, man. It's good stuff. So just had to do that. All right. Listen to this. This is scary. This is scary. Last Tuesday in Nashville, Tennessee, wide receiver Randall Cobb, his wife and family are, quote, and this is what they said, quote, lucky to be alive. Their Tesla Charger caught fire in the garage and quickly spread through their entire home. Aida, Randall's wife, said, and I quote, we got out of the house with nothing but the clothes on our back and no shoes on our feet, end quote. Randall said he was able to go back in and rescue the family dog. Well, that's all well and good because his family was out. He got the kids out and wife and everything. Then he realized they didn't have the family dog. So he went back into the home and rescued the family dog. Randall said, and I quote, we don't know how much, if anything, will be able to be salvaged, but this has been a reminder that nothing is more important than the health of our family, end quote. Wow. That's what I'm talking about, guys. You never know. I mean, these guys are worth millions. Fire doesn't care. Fire will strike a millionaire, or he'll strike, somebody down in their dumps. Doesn't matter. Fire doesn't care. And that's to know that Randall Cobb got out safely and his family, and for him to say, we don't know what we're going to salvage. They may not get anything. They may not get anything. And the firefighters were there in a hurry. They put out the best they could, but it spreads. It spreads fast. But to realize that, you came that close to possibly perishing and you didn't, and you were able to get out, and you realize, you know what? It's more important. Is the house more important? No. Are the belongings in the house more important? No. Did we lose memories and pictures and audio recordings or, video recordings or whatever? Did we lose that? Possibly, unless they were backed up on the cloud or whatever. Sure. But the memories are here, guys. The memories are here. And when you have family that you love and care about, and you're able to get out of the house and save, it's traumatic. I'm not saying it's not traumatic. Thank goodness I've never had a fire happen. And knock on wood, that never does. Had a flood in this house of about, 2 or 3 inches, and, severe damage to the walls in almost every downstairs room. And, that was pretty traumatic. pretty traumatic. But nothing, I mean, we didn't lose any significant things that we couldn't replace. We didn't lose, valuables, or we didn't lose, pictures or videos or things of that nature. So I know a fire is much more devastating. I'm not trying to equate or equal, what I and my family, where my wife went through, to a fire of this magnitude. I'm not doing that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, yes, there are things that are traumatic. And Randall Cobb, to be able to put all this in perspective, maybe it hadn't hit him yet, but to put it all in perspective, it's just so thankful that he and his family were able to get out. Their dog as well. And I wish him all the best. A lot of prayers need to go that way to his family. It's going to be a long recovery, rebuilding or whatever they decide to do. But thank goodness he and his family are safe, and they will move on, and they will come out on the other side through all of this. Wow. Just never know, guys. You just never know. All right, D-Rock is batting cleanup in the chat. He says, Big Bill. I said, what's up, Big D-Rock? He says, chat, I am. I'm glad you're in the chat. I'm chatting with you too, my friend. Love it. Love the fact you're in the chat, my friend. Absolutely. Like each and every one of you, like I said, taking time out of your busy Friday night, wherever you may be, West Coast, Mountain Time Zone, Midwest, or East Coast. Really do appreciate each and every one of you every single Friday. All right. Now, the next to the last topic, and it says, can the Broncos afford another slow start? Well, we don't have a Super Bowl champion quarterback. And I know you guys, Russell Wilson did not prove out to be that with the Broncos, but he still is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Still is. Say what you want, but he's still a Super Bowl winning quarterback, like it or not. We don't have that guy on our team now. We have a Zach Wilson, we have a Jared Stidham, and we have a rookie in Bo Nix. So, do the Broncos get off to another slow start like they did last year when they started 1-5? Well, let me get into that. Heading into the 2024 NFL season, the Broncos, quote, don't want to suck, end quote. According to linebacker Alex Singleton, that's exactly what we don't want to do. Well, what's going to change? Well, hopefully quarterback performance. Don't know. Let me continue. Vance Joseph said, and I quote, we have to get off to a better start. No freaking kidding. Really? Well, any brain dead person could say that. Of course we got to get off to a better start. That's common sense. That's stats in your face from last year. Why would you make a stupid comment like that? I mean, that's obvious to me. All right. Last season started out horribly as Denver's defense couldn't seem to get off the field. It got so bad that Miami put up 70 points against that defense. That said, the offense didn't really do their part either. Well, no, they didn't, because Sean Payton had to dumb down the playbook because Russell Wilson couldn't get it through his freaking brain as to what Sean Payton wanted. I continue. Joseph knows the second year with the same scheme makes things easier. He said, and I quote, it's going to be easier for the players to grasp the system. We expect to play better early, and that's the bottom line, end quote. Oh, yeah, you have no choice, guy. Hey, Vance Joseph, you have no choice. You can't start any worse than 1-5 last year. You possibly, absolutely cannot. If you start worse than 1-5 with Russell Wilson at quarterback, with the play calling system dumbed down, and you go 0-5, how are you going to explain that to the fans that 0-5 with a Bo Nix / Jared Stidham / Zach Wilson is better than a Russell Wilson? How are you going to explain that? It's not going to be easy. Oh, well, we got learning curve. We got a rookie quarterback. Okay, you draft him at number 12. If you put him in there as a starting quarterback, he had better produce, period. Better produce. Now, I'll settle for a 3-2 record or even a 2-3 because that's better than 1-5. I'd rather have a 3-2 or 4-1. But if you've seen the schedule, it's pretty stiff. It's pretty difficult. It's especially right out the gate. You got Seattle game 1. You got Pittsburgh Steelers and Russell Wilson in Denver. Not going to be easy, guys. Not going to be easy. Okay. That said, do they get better in the first 5 games? I don't know. I said earlier, and I'll keep saying it. We have no idea as to what quarterback we're going to have to start, how well they're going to play, and what it's going to look like receiver-wise. Is Cortland Sutton still going to be on the Broncos? Is he going to hold out because he's pissed off he doesn't have a contract extension or an increase in pay? Is Tim Patrick going to be able to stay on the field? Is Greg Dulcich going to be able to stay healthy longer than 5.5 minutes without pulling a hamstring? I mean, seriously, Javonte Williams, is he going to be able to get back into form after coming back last year and looking somewhat decent, but not back to what he was? Is that a possibility? How about not having Bo Nix as a starting quarterback? What if it is Zach Wilson? What if it is Jarrett Stidham? What if? That's where we are, guys. I don't know if a 1-5 record of last year is going to be significantly improved this year. I don't know. I won't know until we see them on the field game 1 at Seattle. And even then, I'm not sure because of the first 5 games are so difficult. I don't know what we're going to see. I sure hope it ain't 0-5 or 1-5. But I got my doubts, man. I really do have my doubts. All right. Dave Fonseca says Bo Nix needs to be the starter. Only if he's ready, David. Only if he's ready. And I say that because if he's not ready, why throw him to the wolves? You can't do that. You're going to crush his spirit, his confidence. You know, I mean, he was all world in Oregon, and he comes to the NFL and he gets his lunch handed to him, sacked 3 or 4 times in a game, maybe pulled from the starting position in the third quarter or something. Put in Zach Wilson or Jarrett Stidham. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. But if he is ready and he has shown ability in preseason and whatnot, then okay. Okay, I say, okay, give him that shot. I just don't want his confidence to be destroyed or his, just inability to be able to grasp the NFL speed and the verbiage that Sean Payton's throwing out there. That's my concern. That's my concern. David Fonseca follows up by saying the Broncos management can't seem to get it in their head that they need to go with a franchise quarterback and not bench him. Okay. I know they want Bo Nix to be the franchise quarterback, and I would agree with that. But again, Dave, do you throw him to the wolves? Do you put him into the ring of fire and say, okay, sink or swim? Throw him in the middle of the ocean without a life preserver and say, okay, swim back to shore. I just don't know if you do that. Me personally, I would not. Me personally, I would bring him along slowly. Patrick Mahomes didn't get thrown into the furnace right out of the gate. He was behind Alex Smith. Tom Brady, he didn't get thrown right into the mix. He was behind Drew Bledsoe. So you see these greats, Aaron Rodgers, he was behind Brett Favre. These quarterbacks, have to kind of learn behind a quarterback that's already there. Sure, we don't have a Brett Favre, or we don't have a Drew Bledsoe, or we don't have an Alex Smith as our quarterback that Bo Nix can learn behind. All we have is Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson. So that's not really the cream of the crop. I get what you're saying, Dave. I really do understand what you're saying. I just don't want this kid confidence and ability to get destroyed because he was thrust into the furnace before he was ready. Okay. Says this has been a problem for a very long time. Instead, they keep letting has-been quarterbacks play. That's what David followed that up with. True. But again, that's because we never really drafted a quarterback I mean, John Elway drafted quarterbacks, but they were all just junk quarterbacks. They really were. Yeah, and you can't do that. You can't try and find another John Elway prototype because it's not going to be there. You're not going to find it. It's an impossibility. No, there's no clone out there. There's similarities, but there's no identical. And John Elway tried to find that identical John Elway prototype that he was. He was never going to find it. Never going to find it. Mark batting fifth from Georgia. Mark from Georgia said Denver Sports has already said Zach Wilson is the third string quarterback for a reason, rehabilitation. Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. I'll go with that. So that just basically leads Jared Stidham and Bo Nix. In that case, well, I mean, like I said, Stidham played 2 games last year. He's got 2 more NFL games than Bo Nix. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not the general manager. I'm not the head coach. Thank goodness. Although Dave Fonseca says, make me the manager and I'll fix all their problems for the last few decades. Well, there you go, Dave. Put your resume in and see where it goes, man. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see you in there. Maybe kind of fun. Kind of fun. Take somebody off the street that says, hey, you know what? I can be GM. Pay me half of what you're paying, George Payton, and I'll do it. No problem. No problem whatsoever, man. Yeah, that'd be fun. I would like to see that just to see what would happen. If some, guy, some fan off the street came in there and just started just doing something different instead of having the norm, all these people that are in the so-called know of how to do things, and it doesn't seem to get done. It'd be kind of cool to see somebody off the street just go, hey, move out the way. Let me show you how it's done. Let me show you how it's done. Okay, so David Fonseca says we don't have time to wait anymore. You're right. We don't have the time to wait. We really don't have time to wait. But then again, I don't know. It's to me, it's between a rock and a hard place. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. You put him in there and he fails. Well, shouldn't have put him in there. I told you we shouldn't have put him in there. And then you don't put him in there, and now you wasted another year with him. And then when he does go in there, you're like, oh man, we should have put him in there earlier. This guy doing great. See, you don't know. You just don't know. It's a crapshoot, basically. It's like take the dice and wing it across the table and hope it don't come up craps. But sometimes it does. Dave, I totally agree with you. I am tired of losing too. I am tired of losing. Absolutely tired of losing. And the bad part about that, Dave, as I hate to say this, I've gotten used to it. I think last year on the neighborhood when Dulcich Creevy and I were doing the neighborhood Broncos, the game would come on and we'd say, well, what do you think the score is going to be now? Well, I don't think we're going to I don't think we're going to score more than 10 points, so I guess we're going to lose. It just felt that way. And that whole Miami game when we gave up 70 points, me and Mike, Dulcich Creevy, we're saying, all right, let's get 77. Let's set a new NFL record. Why not? You're going to be in the record books. Why not? Set a record. Oh, Miami didn't want to run up the score. Oh, yeah, right. It's like 70 points isn't running up the score. Hey, that was last year. All right, let's move on. Let's get some W's. Let's get some wins. And I totally agree with you, David. I'm tired of losing too, man. Totally tired. All right. Mark from Georgia says basically a 2-man race. Yep. Okay. I'll give you that. If that's the case, well, I mean, Bo Nix has the upper hand. I would definitely think so. Just with his ability to grasp the playbook. But then again, like I mentioned, Jared Stidham did play 2 games, but it was with a dumbed down playbook because Sean Payton had to keep it that way because Russell Wilson was the quarterback at the time. He didn't change it for the last 2 games when Jared Stidham was quarterback. So it'll be interesting to see if Stidham can grasp the verbiage that Sean Payton puts out. It'll also be interesting to see if Bo Nix can grasp it as well. So this training camp is going to be very I'll be watching that like crazy, getting updates of stuff and it pertains to how they played and all that. So it will be interesting. It will be interesting. Mark from Georgia follows up by saying Cecil Lamb and Andrew Mason has been there and seen it for themselves. Okay, great. I'm really hoping that it goes Bo Nix way. I really do, because man, if we can get him in there and he can start lighting things up and producing, like he did in Oregon, man, tell you what, it would be an exciting season. Absolutely exciting season. Speaking of Alex Smith, I doubt this is the Alex Smith that was on the Chiefs, but anyways, I mentioned that quarterback. Alex Smith says, "Hello, Bill. If I was coach, I'd start Nix. No need to have him sit on the bench." There you go. There's another Bo Nix reference to being the starting quarterback right out of the gate. And I can't disagree with you guys. I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm trying to say is I don't know. I can't say we, because maybe they do. I don't know who's going to be the starting quarterback. I don't, because I'm not there seeing it each and every day. I just get the topics that come in regards to how quarterbacks are doing this and that. So that's all I can go by. I'm not there physically. That being said, whoever starts as the starting quarterback, I sure hope that it's the absolute right move. Not a shot from the hip, not a not a shot in the dark kind of thing, not a pulling a rabbit out of a hat, all those cliches. No, I want to be firm. I want to be solid. I want to be exactly what they see and where the team can go with that particular person at quarterback. That's what I want. I want W's. I don't, like I said last week, guys, I don't care who starts at quarterback. I don't care who it is. Sean Payton can start a quarterback if that's the best person. I don't care. All I want are W's. I don't care who starts. I just want Bronco wins. Period. I mean, isn't that what we all want? Sure, we all want a franchise quarterback, but don't we all want to win? Sure we do. Absolutely we do. And in my case, I don't care who the quarterback is as long as the Broncos win the freaking game. Period. All right. So Mark from Georgia said, so it's going to take Zach Wilson sometime and hopefully be patient. Well, that's good. I hope he is patient, and hopefully he'll learn. And, if he's there for, a couple of years or whatever, and he has to come in, heaven forbid, an injury to, Bo Nix or Jared Stidham or whatever, and he has to come in, then I hope he's ready. I hope each and every one of those quarterbacks that are on the team are ready to step in and just continue a well-oiled machine. Let's get this Broncos team as a well-oiled machine like we were back in the 90s and like we were that fantastic Super Bowl 50 run in 2015. That's the kind of team I want to see, a well-oiled machine. All right. Alex Smith follows up by saying, Seattle will be the perfect environment for Nix to start his career. He will learn. He will grow. Well, there you go. Yeah, he will learn and he will grow. But what's the learning curve? Year? 17 games out of 17 games. Do you think he'll catch on game 7, 10? Maybe not the entire season. Maybe he gets benched, which would really deflate him, absolutely deflate him. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, guys. I really don't know what the answer is. Mark from George says, Bill, we want the wins. Don't get me wrong, but we have to be consistent for the wins. Absolutely have to be consistent. And I agree. I don't want to win here, 2 losses there, another win, another loss, another win, 3 losses. I don't want that. You're right. We got to be consistent. I don't want to be consistent in losing. We saw that last 7, 8 years. I want to be consistent in winning. And like I said, I don't care who that quarterback is, as long as we get wins, continuous wins, continually win. And I don't mean the Broncos are going to run off 17 wins in a row. That's not going to happen. Would love it to, but it's not going to happen. Not with the teams we got to play this year. That's just not going to happen. Let alone our own division. We got the Chiefs twice, the Chargers twice, and the Raiders twice. I haven't seemed to win too many of those games. So, it's it's going to be a work in progress, guys. It's going to be a work in progress. We as fans have to be patient. We have to be patient just like Zach Wilson has to be patient. And just like everybody else has to be patient. We have to take a deep breath, exhale slowly, and say, okay, it's a work in progress. We will get through this. Do I want to go to the playoffs this year? Absolutely. Do I think it's possible? Anything's possible. On any given Sunday, any team can win. That's been proven many, many times. Many times. All right, guys. Before I get to the last topic, just one more comment and shout out to everybody in the chat. People watching live, listening live, really do appreciate it. Thanks so much. Please hit the thumbs up button. Costs you nothing. Helps out the channel. Lets everyone else know out there that you like the show and you really recommend that they watch it as well. Please hit the subscribe button if you have not. That supports the channel. My network, the network MHRT and my channel, Broncos Breakdown on YouTube. It helps out both. Please hit the thumbs up. Really do appreciate it. You guys are the best each and every Friday. The last topic of the show, if you look down right below my name, it says McKinnon finally gets his MVP Hart Trophy. The Hart Trophy is awarded to the most valuable player for the league. MVP, most valuable player. And McKinnon finally gets it, and well-deserved. Here it is. In last night's NHL season-ending awards, Nathan McKinnon, Colorado Avalanche center, has won the Hart Trophy given to the league's most valuable player. Last season, McKinnon had an Avalanche record of at least 1 point in 39 of the 41 Avalanche home games. 39 of the 41 Avalanche home games. He had a stretch at one point, I believe, of 38 straight. 38 straight home games with at least 1 point. He ended up with 39 out of 41. Only the great one, Wayne Gretzky, scored more or had more points. He had 40 straight. The only NHL player in the history of the NHL to have a complete home scoring points. Wayne Gretzky scored or assisted in all 40 Edmonton Oilers home games when he was a member and on the Edmonton Oilers NHL team. That is absolutely remarkable. Congratulations to Nathan McKinnon for the league's MVP Hart Trophy. Well-deserved. You should have had it a long time ago. You should have had it years ago. But what an absolute fantastic award to a guy who was an outstanding player on an Avalanche team last year that did not fulfill its ultimate goal of getting back to the Stanley Cup. But nonetheless, a remarkable 2023 season for Nathan McKinnon, Colorado Avalanche center, 39 points at home out of 41 home games. Absolutely unbelievable. I shouldn't say 39 points. 39 home games where he scored at least 1 point, sometimes multiple points, on his way to 39 home games with at least 1 point out of the 41 home games the Avalanche played last season. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you have not, please do so. I really greatly appreciate it. It does wonders for the channel, does wonders for, the ratings. I really do appreciate it. You guys are the best each and every week. I've mentioned that many, many times. I'll continue to say it. Those in the chat, I'm going to go down the list and recognize you. Why? Because if you guys can take the time to be in the chat, I can take the time to acknowledge you one final time before we end the show. The guys that are not in the chat, that are watching, listening, thank you so much each and every week for being there, for watching, for listening, for supporting. I really do greatly appreciate it. Going down the list in the chat, batting leadoff with G Money 88, followed by Graham in the batting second. Then you had David Fonseca, really good friend of mine from Indiana. He's batting third. D-Rock batting cleanup. Thank you guys so much for being in the chat. Mark from Georgia batting 5th. Thanks again, Mark. Really do appreciate it. Alex Smith batting 6th. And that will wrap up the participants in the chat. Thanks again, guys, so much. Really do appreciate it. Before I get out of here, guys, one more thing. Have a wonderful, wonderful, fantastic weekend. And on July 4th, this next Thursday, please have a wonderful, safe holiday 4th of July. Wherever you may be, whatever you may be doing, enjoy yourself, your family, your friends, your outings, whatever it may be. And hopefully we will see you next Friday. I know it's a long weekend. A lot of you guys won't be around. It's summer. Kids are out of school. You're doing summer vacations. You're doing summer activities. It's a 4th of July weekend. But if you can, guys, stop by. I will be here next Friday, July 5th, and we will do this show live once again, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Till then, guys, have a fantastic weekend. We will talk to you next Friday. Happy 4th of July, guys, to each and every one of you out there. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast's racking up the flight miles. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle. Wait a minute, work hard for the car, so that's why it's all tinted. Wait a minute.